Hi, good afternoon, everyone. So today we're going to talk about those dosas, those idlis, those doklas, and in general, fermented foods. There's a lot of stuff going on about whether fermented foods are good for you, whether they're bad for you. A lot of people complain of bloating and flatulence and indigestion and acidity post-eating fermented foods. I know South Indians and people whose staple diet is fermented foods or comprised mainly of fermented foods, moving away from that diet and adopting something which is not even staple to their geography and their region where they live. That's because there are a lot of myths that come along with these foods. The dosa, the idli, the dokla, fermented foods are extremely healthy for you. If you suffer from indigestion and acidity and bloating and flatulence, you can't blame your food or your staple diet. You blame your weak digestive system and you work on strengthening your digestive system. You don't strengthen a system by taking away those foods and not making lifestyle changes. So let's talk about fermented foods for a moment right now. During the fermentation process, especially grains and beans, phytic acid is what produces most of the bloating and the indigestion. During the fermentation process, phytic acid gets broken down, and that's why you're able to digest the food much more easier without all that gas and without all that acidity. It's a good idea to ferment and break down the phytic acid as well, because phytic acid blocks the absorption of minerals from the food that you eat into your body, into your blood. So basically, when you have fermented food, phytic acid is broken down, which actually allows for the bioavailability of vitamins and minerals and the absorption of minerals and vitamins into your blood and then onwards to your billions of cells that you're made up of. Fermentation also produces lactobacilli, basically, which produces an array of vitamins, especially your B vitamins, yes, including the synthesis of vitamin B12, something that most people have a deficiency of, vitamin B12. So right from vitamin B like folic acid, riboflavin, you have your niacin, your thiamine, even vitamin K, even your vitamin B12, and certain antibiotic and anti-carcinogenic properties. All this is produced by lactobacilli, which happens during the fermentation process or when you eat fermented food. Fermented food is already pre-digested by bacteria, which means once it gets into your system, it's actually easy for you to digest it because it's pre-digested already. And during the fermentation process, there's a production of enzymes and lactic acid, which actually helps with the breakdown and absorption of protein and amino acids. Fermented food also protects the life of the food for a longer period of time, and it also helps you develop your healthy gut bacteria in your intestines. Almost everyone has an incorrect ratio of good and bad bacteria, which is why we have indigestion, bloating, acidity, flatulence, IBS, leaky gut syndrome, malnourishment, because most of the minerals and vitamins from the food that we eat don't get absorbed in our body. When you have the correct and the right ratio of good bacteria and bad bacteria, you have proper assimilation of food, you have proper digestion, you have good bowel movement, you have good colon health. And you get all of that again from fermented food. So when you remove fermented food from your diet, if you think taking out a dosa from your diet is going to make you any healthier, you're mistaken. Now there's a healthy way to cook a dosa and there's an unhealthy way. Choosing the oils, choosing the quantity of oil, the amount of salt, and of course how much you eat. If you're eating 6 to 8 to 10 idlis at one time, that's a little too much for anyone. It's bad for your GI levels, and overconsumption of anything that's even good for you is a problem to the human body, because the human body only uses what it needs for its energy and its bodily functions. Anything else, even if it's a fruit or an apple, in excess will be stored as fat. So what goes into a dosa, for example? There are black lentils, also known as urad dal, and then you have rice, and that's ground with a little bit of fenugreek. Now just look at the beauty in the combination of these ingredients. Rice and lentils together make a complete protein food. It has all 22 essential amino acids. But yet most people will label it as a carb and they'll say, oh, it's bad for me, I'm going to put on weight. But it's an essential amino acid. You have all the essential amino acids, making it a complete protein that the body uses to actually help you build lean mass or lose body fat. The fenugreek added has a warming impact to the food. It also helps you digest better. It helps you break down phytic acid better, and it helps with your blood sugar balance. That is the beauty of the combination of these ingredients in making a dosa. Idli again is fermented. Dokla, fermented. It has tremendous health value when it comes to your health and your nutrition. So do not stray away from your staple foods. There's a good way to have it and a bad way. When you have all the roadside dosas which are covered with butter and oil which is reused over and over again, those are the things that cause you to lose your health. Those are the things that cause you to put on weight. When you're doing your good old homemade dosa or your idlis or your dokla or any fermented food, stick to that. The problem is never with your staple foods. It is with your lifestyle. So enjoy all of your fermented foods. Until next time, eat smart, move more, sleep right, and breathe deep. Have a good evening, everyone.